I'm going to do an okay so video. You know what an okay so video is? Okay so. There's a guy that counts how many times I say okay so. Okay so, that's how it goes. Well, on this okay so video, I'm going to talk about Pitmans and Pitman arms and Pitman bushings. So last night, and it's unavoidable, these wear out. It's a Pitman bushing. Goes at the end of the knife. I have a new one. Woohoo, right? So, Pitman bushings have holes in them on each side where you're supposed to grease them. And the grease goes through one hole and then it usually squirts out the top. I'll take you over to the other side where I have not tore it apart yet. And I'm not going to have to because I've already just greased it. It only takes a minute. You come over here and there's a grease zerk, right? Zerk, Z-E-R-K. For those of you that don't understand what a zerk is, that's what it is. Pitman bushing goes in there and you grease it. Well, yesterday morning in my haste, I didn't grease it. I greased it the day before, and you know, generally speaking, they don't really take that much grease, but this is from an old knife that I took out of the side pocket here on the head because it had a spare. I bought a new knife, but it hasn't shown up yet. So the knife storage area is right here. It goes clear through to the other side, and on the other side, where in the heck is this thing? Right here. See that square? Why are you doing this, camera? So that square is where the knife stays. You just put it in there. And then when you break a knife, you pull it out. You pull the old knife out, slide everything out like I did the other day, and there you go. Bob's your uncle, Franny's your auntie. There you go. So this is the new Pitman bushing, right? It goes up in there, just like a so. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this without taking... All right, hold on. Let me see. Can you guys see what I'm doing? I think you can. So it's real simple. You just kind of stuff her back up in there, like a so, and you crank her tight. You really want it to crank tight, because if that bolt sticks down too low, it'll catch in here and it'll erode the bottom of this piece here, and then you got to buy that, and it's expensive. And we don't really want to do that, even though this one here looks like it's missing something. It's got some wear to it, but you know, this was not a new head to begin with. So give me a second. Now, just because the Pitman bushing went doesn't mean that the knife is junk and you have to call your dealer to fix it. You just kind of do this, right? And just so you know, these Pitman bushings don't come pre-greased. They do not come pre-greased. I have never seen one that comes pre-greased. So don't put it in there thinking you're just gonna stick it in there and it'll be pre-greased. You really don't want to blow the seals either. So when you take your grease gun and you go to put it away, do it like this. Do it like this, and it's a very nice, handy little thing. So without sticking your fingers there, without getting them cut off, you can just do this, and then slide your bolt up through there, and there's that. Right? There's that. And we take our handy dandy impact gun, right? And we're going to do this. There it is. And that's it. Wrench and an impact gun. Take your pin. Don't forget to put that in. Because if you forget to put that in, I'm telling you right now, you will be replacing the bolt and the bushing in a matter of hours. You can ask me how I know that, but I think you already know the answer to that question as to how I know that. And there you go. Ow. and ram your head into that, and you're all good. So, oh, something just popped in my back pocket. What was it? Oh, 2 wrenches. Yeah. And make sure that your Pitman bushing is tight on that knife. It just pinches it in there. I've had that loosen up too over time. So now that you've seen too much of me, that's it. Next thing you're going to want to, oh, what did I do? Next thing you're going to want to do is check the oil level in your Pitman gearbox. So basically, or Wobble gearbox, Wobble box. I always called them a Wobble box. Wobble box is a good name for them because that's what they do. They wobble. They just go back and forth. So there's this crankshaft looking thing in there that's offset. If you've never tore one of those apart, you're lucky. If you have tore one apart, you'll know that that crankshaft looking thing in there, the crankshaft looking thing in there is, oh, I can tell you this. I think it's going to be something like a 9/16, 5/8, 11/16, 3/4, something like that. And there should be a dipstick in here. Right, so I've got a 5/8 and a 3/4. I can't remember. I think it's 3/4. And I'm wrong. And you know what? Where the hell is this thing shining? Jesus, camera. So I'm wrong again. If it ain't 3/4 and it isn't 5/8, it's most more than likely an 11/16. Or 13/16, right? Which would be too big. 11/16. I had this feeling that it was going to be an 11/16. So here we go. Now, if I remember correctly, let me get you in the right spot so you can see. You want to clean that off. When you break this thing free, oh, it's metric. Gotta love that. You break this thing free, all of your soybean dust, 17, 18 millimeter, right? 17 millimeter. It's gonna be, yeah, no, we wouldn't dare use standard here in the United States of America. Nah, wouldn't do that. Let's try a 17. I bet it's 17. And I got one of these fancy pants ratcheting wrenches. Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. So 17 millimeter is the one you want to do. All right. So once you get it loose, now it should be pipe thread, but because, and it probably is pipe thread on the top. Once you get that loosened up, you really kind of want to clean that out of there because you just don't want to have dirt going down into your wobble box. So I've blown that out, and there should be a dipstick in here. Should be. I'm not saying there is going to be one, and there's not one. Okay. So, shoot. So you know what that means, right? What that means is there's no dipstick. It means that over here, which I kind of remember and knew that, there is a... Oh, wow. Let's see if I can get that off without hurting myself. So, alright, definitely 17 millimeter. If you don't check these from time to time, you could end up with a very expensive repair. These things, I don't know what this one will cost. I generally, and I've had these go bad, don't get me wrong, but I think they're the same wobble box on these as they are on, say, the older heads. Now, what you want to do is you want to pull that off kind of slowly, and you know what? Got plenty of oil in there because it's leaking all over the place. It's milky though, which means that there's been water get into it over time. It doesn't even, it looks like hydraulic oil in there. Water will not destroy the bearings per se, but if it sits in there, then it will. Water mixed with oil does not destroy your bearings. Even in an engine, you can have water get in your engine oil. That's fine. What you don't want in your engine oil is coolant. Now, you don't want coolant. Huh. I can't get that in. Okay. Yeah, gotta love that. So anyway, yeah, there you go. There it is. Oops. There it is. Just like I said. Yep. So now we have that checked. A couple other grease zerks that need to be dealt with here. So that's that. You want to kind of make sure that this is working freely. This is your header height control. Your right and your left. There's a proximity sensor there, and you kind of have to. I personally think that this thing should be a little more active, but I'm not going to mess with it because it seems to be working. So now I'll go to the other side. Now, the other side, the Pitman arm, their Pitman bushing is fine. Is fine. I checked it this morning. I'm not going to do the top one. I'm going to do just this bottom one here because I got to see if I can get a different. Let me see if I can get a different wrench. Let me flip you around. There's all kinds of noises going on this farm. Let's put that there, and I'm thinking I should have a 17 millimeter socket, right? What is this? 21. I don't want to show everybody where my tools are, even though you could find them if you really wanted to. Is this a 18, which is no good? But this is a 17. Here it is, 17 millimeter, and a ratchet. So this will make life just a little bit easier. The ratcheting wrench is fine. Here, let me turn you around. You guys are going to be sick and dizzy by the time you're done here watching this. And boy, I've got a surprise for you guys at the end of the month. Oops. Surprise for you guys. Matter of fact, and we'll be surprising all sorts of people at the end of the month. Well, there's something going to happen big. And I'm hoping that it works out in my favor. Which will be fun. Because I like to have fun. If you didn't know, I kind of like to have fun. I mean, some people think I'm an asshole, but that's okay. I can be an asshole. It's just anybody can. I'm a pretty raw individual here. And there's a magnet there. And there's nothing really on it. And there's oil in it. Less the water. There's no water in this one. So you can see that oil is clean. There's a magnet on the end of that thing. So it's what that magnet does. What that magnet does is catches any, oh for heaven's sakes, it catches any little bit of metal that's floating around in there that can get caught up in the bearings and cause premature wear there. We want this thing to run as long and as healthy as possible. Now, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. So it's just maintenance stuff before you get the day started. I've seen farmers, and I'm guilty of it. I've done it. I did it yesterday. I didn't grease that Pitman arm. And a Pitman bushing. There. Dirty bastard. So when you don't grease something, it fails. And failures are expensive. I don't know what this cost me. Did you hear that? You can hear that in a cab. And I mean, it just bang, 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 bang. And it's more or less as it goes back and forth. Now, if I grease this thing, by no means is this thing completely useless. I can probably fairly easily, here, let's see if I can get a screwdriver. We'll take it apart and I'll show you what's in it. Now, I'll take this screwdriver. This is like an E-clip. Well, it's not like an E-clip. It actually is an E-clip. And she wants to be a pain in my ass. It does. It's one of those deals. you only need to take half of it off. This is to get your screwdriver in on the back side. Now, for future references or future uses, it's just dry as a fart in there, right? The O-ring or the seal is out of it. You can see that seal is not where it belongs. So with it being dry like that, it's pretty well shot. I mean, I don't want to blow smoke up anybody's ass. It's beyond its usefulness because I didn't grease it. Will it still continue to knock and bang like it is? I don't think so. Once I put some grease in there, and I'm gonna grease it, why not, right? Why not? This one lonely farmer, he makes shit work, whether you like it or not. It'll make an okay spare, because I've had these things completely go bad, like completely just, the clip breaks out of it, and then it's seen its better days, it's done. And I just, for the most part, I don't care to keep it, but it is what it is. We'll get that thing settled down in there. Is it going to keep the, I don't know, it's just going to pull the seal right out. It's shot, but you can use it. Now bear with me here a second. I'm gonna go get the grease gun. I will say this though, the new Pitman bushing is better than the old Pitman bushing. So I don't have a grease zerk for this, right? And you're not even going to be able to see what I'm doing unless I do this. I'm going to go ahead, and this is just purely for experimental use. We're just going to do this. Ready? Okay, so I've done this. So now this grease is going to create a cushion in there, and it is coming out. Oh yeah, I probably could have just greased it and gotten away with it, but it's the bushings are the seals are shot. All right. And you can see the grease is coming out through the top of that seal, or where the seal used to be. Once those seals go bad, you're pretty much done. I say that because dirt gets in. If grease can come out through there that easily, dirt can come in. Yeah, see? Now you just don't hear it. It's quieted it right down. Okay. And I know you're probably just sitting there thinking, why did you just waste 5 minutes showing us how to put grease into a worn out Pitman bushing? Well, I'll tell you why. If that thing gets to beating and banging, get out. It will stop all that noise if you can get it to stop the noise. It'll stop it. It will stop it. I know it will, because I've done this before. Now, let me see if I probably have a grease zerk here that I could stick in there. God, this stuff. I'm just taking some time. Maybe I can save somebody some downtime, you know. I mean, there's guys out there who be like, oh my God, it's broke. I can't do anything now. I'm screwed. What am I gonna do? Well, here's the grease zerk. All right, so that grease zerk, it's not really in there, but it's gonna create a better seal. So let's see what happens. There it is. Now I'm going to go to the other side. All right. Or was that the side? Yeah, that was the side. Here, let's go to the other side. I'll do this. There you go. So I got my grease zerk. By no means am I throwing this zerk away. I'm going to get another old paper towel that's in behind the seat here. And word to the wise, to keep from wasting money, guys, what you can do, with these paper towels, if you've washed the windows in your vehicle, your tractor, your combine, and you use these expensive blue towels to do it, is set them out to dry. The little bit of dirt that gets on there isn't grease, and my kids are famous for this. They'll just wash the windows and throw them in the junk heap, and that's it. So now this is stiff again because it's got grease in there, and it's more than likely not going to be hammering like it was. It's not going to hammer like it was because it's got that grease in there. I probably could have just easily, very simply, greased it last night, halfway through when it started to make the noise, or instantly when it started to make the noise. If I'd have stopped what I was... Oh my God darn it. If I'd have stopped what I was doing... If I would have stopped what I was doing and greased it, it probably wouldn't have half that wear on it. Or if I'd have greased it before I got started yesterday morning. I knew they were going to go bad. I mean, these things have untold acres on them. I have no idea. This thing came from Indiana. There's a fair amount of wear on the deck of this thing. And I'm pretty certain that there's probably more wear than I ever wanted to have. You know what? I hate that pair of vice grips. They're like these easy clamp things, but when you're doing delicate stuff like this, they don't work. Here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wipe off my grease gun. It's easier to wipe it off before you put it away than it is to just grab into a bunch of crap. And this grease zerk that I used to make that seal to fix that thing, nothing wrong with it. And that's soybean dust getting down my throat. So, yeah. Okay, there it is. There it is. There that is. Let's put this stuff away and call it a day. Well, we won't call it a day. We're going to call it a good start to a day. Now, I cannot take you... I can't go start the combine up and start the head up, get out and show you that that Pitman is doing its thing. I just can't do it because it's when somebody gets out of the seat, it shuts the head off. The rotors will continue to go, but it'll shut the head off. So you're just going to have to trust me that that was the problem, and I'll bring you along in a few minutes when I am cutting soybeans. So maybe... And I was talking earlier about this camera and people bitching about the camera. You know what? This is a really good camera. It's a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Love it. I absolutely love this camera. I mean, I'm turning this thing all over the place and it's doing its thing. I have it set so that it shouldn't drift down, but about a year ago I had an Osmo 2. And it wasn't the Pocket 2, it was just the Osmo, which didn't have the gimbal and the anti-vibration stuff, but it just didn't have the quality of picture that I was looking for. So I quit using it. I actually have 2 of them, but I quit using it and I gave it to William, and he's been recording all sorts of stuff. And when he gets that thing recorded full, then I will just change the SD card, and then he can record it full again, and then I'll change the SD card again, so that at some point in time he may want to look at those old videos and see that he was 5, and so he's been doing that since he was 5. He's 6 now, so for about a year he's been messing with that. Well, not a year. He's been messing with the camera for a while. I got a lot of footage of him because he's a neat kid. He really is a neat kid. I really, really am fortunate that I was smart enough to get with Teresa and actually have another child, because he's totally different than the others. The others in their own right were fun, but this guy, totally different animal. He's a hybrid. That's what Dad calls him, a hybrid. Teresa called him a mutt. And Teresa told the doctor, well, he's a mutt. He's going to be healthy. He just had his checkup, so... And his checkup was good. He had no problems growing at a good rate. He's gained weight. He is fit. He's healthy. His heart is good. His eyes are good, which Teresa was worried about that. because her eyes are not good. My eyes, my reading eyes, did not really want to, didn't want to work out too well. When I turned 48, they started getting weird. And I wear reading glasses, which I wish I never started wearing them, because now my eyes are weak and I have to wear them. But anyways, with that being said, I'm going to shut my mouth. You got way too much footage, and there you go.